you don't know who I am. But today we're doing a new Pick 6 on 6 spin-off games of well-known franchises. Well, let's get into it. Alright, first up we're going to talk about Super Street Fighter Puzzle Fighter Turbo 2. What is the name of this one? Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Behind me is the HD remake for the PS3 and probably the Xbox equivalent. The original Street Fighter Puzzle 2 came out on the, I believe it was the PlayStation and like the Dreamcast, and that was a game that was well played amongst our group of friends of mine and everything. That was a great party game. Everybody always playing it back and forth. Great tournaments going on. But we're bringing in this one for our spin-off game because this puzzle fighter is completely different than anything we know about Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2. As we were, as Street Fighter was getting bigger and bigger, and there were just all kinds of new Street Fighter 3s and Street Fighter 2 remakes over here, left and right and left and up and down. Then this one came along, and this was quite a bit different by bringing in, the Tetris elements, the matching kind of deals, the different colors, and it was... It's a great game. It's a great puzzle fighter game. When you do your combos of breaking, when you have the color blocks and you break them down, each individual character has a different little attack that they're shown, and then they drop their bricks onto the opponent, and each player drops a different flavor of bricks in a different pattern and stuff. And if you know that pattern that's coming, you can kind of arrange for it. And anyways, it can get pretty strategical and it can get pretty competitive too when you have a lot of people around playing for it. Next up for pick number 2, I bring you the Final Fantasy Tactics. Yes, Final Fantasy, big franchise we all know and love. I know I love. This was one of the first spin-offs for the Final Fantasy franchise when they went to the Tactics. And this was, if I remember correctly, this was done with the help of the creator and the designer of Ogre Tactics and Ogre Battle. This brought Final Fantasy into the turn-based strategy games. And it's awesome. This was quite a initial dive into that style of game, the turn-based strategy, and it is long. It's really tough. I know it regularly kicks my butt when I get into it, but it is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of times where you need to do the maps over and over and rearrange things and try new stuff, but fun little story and everything. Anyways, turn-based strategy. If this is anything you like, definitely get it. Final Fantasy Tactics, all over the place. Lots of different consoles, or probably it's even on mobile now as well, since they've been porting a lot of their old games to iOS and Android. Coming in at number 3 is a series, a franchise that has seen a lot of spin-offs, a lot of changes since the very first beginnings, and that is the Resident Evil franchise, and we're going to talk about Operation Raccoon City. This is a multiplayer-based game, and it is a cooperative multiplayer-based game where you have a squad who is going through various levels and situations in Raccoon City after the initial outbreak to stop it, to quell it, to silence people, to make sure it doesn't get out to be known. Just another step back. Here's the original Resident Evil. Here's Operation Raccoon City. It's also got plenty of online multiplayer with it as well. So I chose this for my Resident Evil spin-off game because it is such a different vein than the survival horror. Even if you go to, Resident Evil 5 and technically back to 4, they were more action-packed. 5 definitely a lot more action-packed. But Raccoon City is definitely all just, action-packed, and there's definitely secrets and stuff to find within levels and deals, but you're either out there with a team of AI squad mates or with actual real player squad mates running around trying to do these levels. There's no real survival horror about it, right? I mean, you get medics in the group to heal people. You get people that can, do more covert, subtle attacks, and big people who can do the big fat attacks and can soak up the damage. So it's more like a dungeon kind of crawler for each level. It was all right, and I'm also glad that I didn't pay full price for it. Here's a good tip for looking for some games sometimes, is to go to GameFly. GameFly sells a lot of, their older games or games that they used to rent out to people fairly regularly and on the cheap. Maybe I'll have to see later on after this video if there's anybody still even out on this, if the servers are even still up and I can try and roll through it again. So we'll see about that. But yeah, Resident Evil, Operation Raccoon City. And at pick number 4, we're swinging back to the Final Fantasy series. And this is the Final Fantasy VII spin-off specific. This is Dirge of Cerberus. Final Fantasy VII, Dirge of Cerberus. Midgar's died, but something survived. And then it says a lot of stuff. And you can look forward to blazing gunfighting action and for the latest chapter of the world's favorite storyline. Well, here we go. Final Fantasy VII, Dirge of Cerberus. That's right. I picked this one because it leans further away even from turn-based strategy. It's not that either. It's not regular Final Fantasy. This is a Devil May Cry clone, rip-off, remake style. Just a Devil May Cry style game. Lots of gunplay, lots of magic stuff, pure action going. But, if you enjoyed the Final Fantasy VII series and you liked the storyline, as it says it's, the world's favorite storyline on the back of the box, and that's not going to lie to you. Square Enix would not lie to you. Yeah, it brings in some familiar faces from Final Fantasy VII. As you go to some other familiar locations, all new locations, but you get to play as everybody's favorite brooding vampire, Vincent Valentine. And so there you go. That's the whole reason to get to play it, right? You get to use his guns in a very action-oriented way, rather than just finally selecting him and saying, yeah, attack, or yeah, use magic, or yeah, use your ultimate, or whatever. And then, a confession for this, I don't think I ever did finish this one. Or if I did, I don't remember. So, possibly it's not very memorable. But I should probably go back and give it a shot again. Give it another playthrough, or at least start another playthrough and see how it feels. Really, I should, see how it feels compared to today when it's been almost, what was that? 2006? So it's been, 16 years. It's all right. Maybe it's mediocre. Maybe it's great. Maybe I just don't remember. Maybe I need to replay it again. If you need everything Final Fantasy VII, pick it up. Okay, for pick number 6, we're going to head to PlayStation Vita, where we all love to be, right? Right? Correct, yes, Vita. And we're going to hit up Silent Hill, Book of Memories. Silent Hill, that's a good series, right? Right, yeah. Ever since PlayStation 1, and it's gone on to various other platforms, and it's even had a movie, or has it had 2 movies now? I remember watching at least the first one, and whatever. It was, I guess that's another pick 6 to get back into, more of the movie stuff. But anyways, Silent Hill Book of Memories definitely moves away from the survival horror kind of style that it was, and the exploration and the running and fleeing of everything, and a little bit of combat that you had. And this brings us into the Diablo play style of game, where it is an overhead dungeon crawler kind of deal, right? Where you're picking up weapons and picking up items to replace other weapons and items that you've got as you continue through your Book of Memories, and you go through this whole the whole narrative, the whole story of the Book of Memories, and how it's affecting you and whatever you're attached to it. It's fun. It's actually really good. If you can find it for any type of a decent price, definitely get it for your Vita. yeah, because it's wonderful to play on the Vita, and the controls are great, tight, it works really well. It's one of the better spin-off games that we've seen for sure, and yeah, it keeps us in Silent Hill, giving us a new little slice of the pie to look at it and to be part of that universe. Yes, once again, Silent Hill Book of Memories, that's our 5th spin-off game. Well worth the price of admittance. On to pick number 6 of the pick 6. This one I feel has this is the one that has veered and is the furthest off from this franchise, where this franchise is and what we know it as, and then this game appeared over here just out of left field or right field, whichever field you think is the weirdest one to appear from. It showed up, and I remember hearing and reading about this and just not understanding what this was going to be, but knowing that I had to get it and buying it on release, and I'm glad to have had it since then. And that is Metroid Prime Pinball. That's right. For the beautiful little DS, we've got the dual screen pinball game for Metroid. Which, when you think about it, makes perfect sense, doesn't it? I mean, when Samus gets into the Morph Ball, when she does the Mario Mari, and she becomes the beautiful little spinny ball that we use all over the place to put down power bombs and other stuff, and to find secret hidden passages and just roll around real fast and get out of situations. A pinball game makes total sense. But I never saw it or recognized that until it appeared right in front of us. The other unique thing about this game was that it came with the Rumble Pack for the DS. To give that little bit of haptic feedback, to shake your hands, to shake your fingers, to shake wherever you've got the DS sitting. I don't really care for the Rumble features that much, so I used it a couple times just to see how it worked. And it's fun. It's fine, but I never really used it after that. Just like another confession, just like with all the new PlayStation stuff, I usually always turn off the rumble and vibration functions because they're just a little annoying. But sometimes it does add a little depth to the game. And the DS with its dual screen has always been a really fun concept, and they've been able to utilize, as you know, they've created a whole nother 3DS, with still 2 screens, and it really was able to, and then you had the Wii U with the double screens, and now you've got, it's great to have that extra screen, and this was a fun way to see it utilized here in Metroid Prime Pinball. Well worth whatever the cost is for this. This is so much fun. This one is a great game. Well worth your collection for your 3DS or your DS. Definitely do include it. Okay, great. Thank you for watching. That was our pick 6 of 6 spin-off games from very popular franchises that we all know and I'm sure we all love. It's always fun to see familiar characters in new situations or a familiar place and settings being utilized in new ways. It's also, it's a great way for that franchise or that world or that game and its universe to grow and to become more, and then you can pick and choose which one you want to visit and which one you want to play or which one you want to just ignore and not worry about. And then, of course, there's the big ones that I didn't get to that are like Sonic or Mario. And I really didn't get to those because every game of those is almost a spin-off, right? They've always got something new or crazy going on. Mario's got not just a dozen, but hundreds of spin-off weird games. And then Sonic kind of does the same thing. All right. Again, thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next video. Gosh, it's just, somebody should know this. And as always, game on.